It's a GabLab video with our very special guests Seeker of the Lost and SakuraStardust! A Pacific Muppet production was planned to be made, which was called America's Next Muppet, a parody of reality TV shows like America's Got Talent or American Idol. The show had a pilot filmed in the summer of 2005 to pitch to Disney, and they loved it, so they made a deal to make a 5-episode miniseries to air on ABC. The apparent plot of the show was Kermit and other classic Muppets setting up a talent show for a new Muppet to join the crew. New Muppets must perform in front of the judges, Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Gonzo. The judges would review the acts to see if the participants could be in their trope. Other Muppets were apparently going to set up the challenges behind the scenes and keep the show afloat. The show was even planned to be interactive, where the viewers would vote for who they thought should win. But the show was never aired and assumed to be cancelled as it was nowhere to be seen in the ABC summer 2006 lineup. It's not quite known what happened to the show, but most people assume it was simply scrapped during filming. No footage or images from the pilot have been seen, and Disney hasn't mentioned the series publicly, making it unlikely it would be found.
The Cheapest Muppet Movie Ever Made is an unmade Muppet movie that was first conceived in 1985 by Jim Henson, Jerry Jewell, and Frank Oz. There have been several attempts to get the film made, most recently by Disney in 2009, but none made it past the screenplay stage due to, ironically enough, budget issues. Despite having been confirmed to exist in multiple drafts, that screenplay has never resurfaced. Longtime Muppet writer Jerry Jewell described the film's origins during an interview with website Muppet Central in 1998. There was a project for a Muppet movie that we kept returning to. Jim and I worked on it and just loved it. It grew out of the fact that Jim was talking about finances, and if we did another Muppet movie at the time, it would need to be done inexpensively since we were using bigger and bigger budgets for all our other projects. So we conceived of a movie slated as the cheapest Muppet movie ever made. That was the original working title, and that later became the subtitle, with the title along the lines of Into the Teeth of the Demons of Death. The idea being that this was a film that Gonzo directed. Kermit was too busy, so when Gonzo asked, Kermit said, "Sure, go ahead. I can't take on the responsibilities behind the scenes at this time, but I'll perform in it." So Gonzo wrote this cheesy, terrible plot that made absolutely no sense whatsoever about something being stolen that led to a chase around the world. Unfortunately, Gonzo blows half the movie's budget on the opening titles, so as the film progresses, it gets cheaper and cheaper, where they're using a shot of the same street corner for every city in the world. We were still talking about this project in the last meeting I ended up having with Jim. Every now and then we still bring up the movie. 6 months ago, Frank had said to me, "You know, there's still something in that movie. It would be a lot of fun to do." One thing that kept it from happening though was that for the cheapest Muppet movie ever made, it still turned out to be expensive to shoot. Things like a tranquil island blown up with a volcano and such. Further details about the film's plot were revealed in 2013's Jim Henson, the biography. Gonzo's film within the film was confirmed as Into the Jaws of the Demons of Death, and his snowballing budget issues would eventually translate to black and white Super 8 film, then to a slideshow, and finally storyboards. Finally, in a dramatic twist ending, Gonzo would find corporate sponsorship, ensuring a spectacular climax in high-def widescreen. During a 2020 livestream for the Museum of the Moving Image, Jim Lewis revealed that one scene would have crossed over with the Muppet movie, showing the action behind the curtains of the Miss Bogan County beauty pageant moments before Miss Piggy's entrance.
I don't think I ever saw that.
I don't think we've ever seen that.
That was the one that you were developing with Mr. Oz, right?
With Oz, yeah, Frank Oz, and we would work. We would sit down, we would work together, and then and he'd say, "Write that up," and he'd fall asleep on the couch, and I would write it. So and then he'd go back. But that was great. You know, I wish we'd done it. Maybe someday. But that was fun because there's a lot of stuff about. One of the things we did in it, which I'll just do a tease on, was you see Piggy. You get some backstory on Piggy, and you see her up to the moment when she comes out from behind the curtain at the Bogan County Fair and she first lays her eyes on Kermit. So you get what happened before that. It's kind of that Back to the Future kind of thing where in the second movie you see the same scene from another place. It was a lot of fun to do that.
The film would not be mentioned publicly again until D23 in September 2009, where it was announced as the next Muppet film. However, it was later pushed aside in favor of 2011's The Muppets. During a January 2018 Reddit AMA, Frank Oz said of the film, When Dick Cook was head of Disney, he asked me to get involved with a Muppet movie. So because the previous script was dated from being written 40 years ago, I did rewrite it with the help of Jim Lewis. And personally, I love it, and I wish it could be made. But maybe its time now is gone because it feels like Disney would like to go its own way. Outside of the various reminiscences of those involved in a title card shown at D23, no versions of the screenplay have resurfaced in any format.
Hey, Uncle Kermit. What are you gonna do now that you're on vacation?
Well, Robin, as soon as I get those house painters started, I'm gonna kick back and relax.
Oh, Carmen, when will you fix the oven, okay?
What's wrong with the oven?
Muppets from Space, released on July 14th, 1999, is the sixth theatrical film created for the Muppets franchise. The film centers around Gonzo, who decides to know more about his family, leads to the discovery that he might actually be an alien from outer space. The film is generally considered a box office bomb, receiving mixed reviews and barely making back its $24 million budget. In light of this, it is noteworthy that the finished film is much different than what it was originally planned. Originally, the film was envisioned as a sci-fi parody titled Muppets in Space, which was a takeoff on the Star Wars franchise and a logical follow-up to the similar Muppet Show segment, Pigs in Space! The plot of the new film would have involved Kermit getting kidnapped by an alien race after being mistaken for their long-lost leader, prompting the rest of the primary Muppets cast, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, Gonzo, etc., to head out on a rescue mission. The screenplay based on this idea was to be written by Kirk Thatcher. At the same time, veteran Muppet writer Jerry Jewell was developing a similar idea titled Star Gonzo, the plot of which is unknown save that it is focused on Gonzo and involved aliens. Eventually, Columbia Pictures opted to focus on Jewell's idea, although the original title was largely retained. Though Thatcher's version of the film was never produced, a series of Welch's Jelly Jollies were made to promote it. Joey Mazzarino was hired to co-write for the film alongside Jewell and Ken Kaufman, with Randall Kaiser of Grease fame set to direct. Mazzarino described his version of the script as also parody-heavy, featuring references to such franchises as Men in Black, Contact, and Alien. The ending was also very different. Instead of Gonzo being confirmed as an alien, it would have been revealed that the aliens have actually modeled themselves after Gonzo, and Gonzo's own origins would ultimately have remained a mystery, with him accepting that his true home was with the Muppet trope. At this point, however, the film's creative team was overhauled yet again. As Mazzarino related in an interview some years later, then I got the panic call from Henson saying that they were firing Randall. They said, "We don't feel like he's bringing enough vision." I said, "But we got the green light! We're going!" So they flew me out to LA to pick a new director, and we picked a director who was a very nice guy, and he did a decent job, but he wanted to get rid of all the parody stuff. He wanted it to be more real, and the ending, I hate the ending. In my draft, the aliens were getting the signal of the old Muppet shows, and they made themselves look like Gonzo because he was the ultimate being to them. And then they peel back to reveal themselves to be these hideous creatures. And it's not about family being those guys. His family is the Muppets. So he's still a whatever. He's not an alien in the end. So the fact that they made him an alien bugs the crap out of me. Anyway, they hired him, he wanted to make all these changes, and I just left. Another casualty of the revamp were the original songs, including a new version of Gonzo's theme, I'm Going to Go Back There Someday, from the Muppet movie.
This looks familiar.
And a new song that was written by rock band Ween, titled Eye to the Sky.
Keep your eye to the sky.
Whether or not any other songs were planned or written for the film currently remains unknown. Muppets from Space would ultimately become the only non-musical Muppet film to date. None of the earlier scripts have been leaked to the public, and little to no behind-the-scenes production material has been released after this video. The cut songs were eventually included on an official soundtrack album and can easily be found online, along with several screenshots of cut scenes.
Oh, you're awake. Well, your teeth are finished, and your gum should be here by the end of the week.
Where's my dick at? Where? Hey!
According to an article entitled Licensing Roundup, a new series featuring the Muppets called The Muppets Present, though some sources claimed it was called The All-New Muppet Show, was in production and set to launch on Fox around 2001. A press release by the Muppets to promote the anniversary of The Muppet Show suggested an international release in 2002. The press release stated that it would include new Muppet characters alongside older ones, and though a different press release refutes that it is a remake of the original Muppet Show, it appears to be closer in concept to the then recent Muppets Tonight, which had failed and didn't include many familiar Muppet characters. Some believe the failure of the preceding show played a part in the cancellation of the Muppets Present. One way or another, the Muppets Present was not completed, and soon different Muppet revival projects were being explored, such as the Muppets 2007 presentation pilot, which was later reworked into The Muppets, the 2015 ABC series. No other information has been revealed about this iteration of the Muppets, or if any episodes were produced for it, though the Muppet Wiki suggests a pitch presentation exists. However, the pilot script was posted online.
After the Muppets Present failed to come together, a new mockumentary-style Muppet series was proposed by writer Bill Prady, who had previously worked with the Muppets and later become famous for The Big Bang Theory, and featured puppetry work by Bill Beretta, Dave Gould, Steve Whitemire, and Eric Jacobson. A 10-minute presentation was created in December 2006 featuring a documentary filmmaker trailing Kermit as he tries to reunite the Muppets for a new show. Prady later stated that he was told to destroy every copy of the pilot he had in a 2015 interview. The concept of the series is similar to that later used several years later by Prady for the Muppet series released on ABC in 2015, which also had a mockumentary format. Though the filmmakers are off-screen and rarely acknowledged, and the Muppet characters are co-workers on a talk show hosted by Miss Piggy. By this time, however, the mockumentary style has been popularized by The Office and Modern Family for over a decade, and became a focus of criticism.
Kagayake Goro Muppetto Geba Geba 90 分 was a TV special that aired on April 29, 1976. It featured Japanese pop singer Goro Noguchi and the Muppets. The one-shot variety program was 90 minutes long, hence the 90 分, and starred Goro Noguchi and showed the Muppets performing skits and songs. The Muppet characters it showed were the band members of the Electric Mayhem, Crazy Harry, Kermit the Frog, George the Janitor, a trumpeting Muppet, a variety of Frackles and whatnots, Fozzie Bear, and potentially many others. Fozzie Bear's appearance here is especially notable as, due to the air date of the special, this would be his first appearance. The Muppets only aired for around 20 minutes worth of the special. Said special was only broadcasted once on Nippon TV as a part of the Thursday special block. However, when Goro Noguchi appeared on the June 2, 2012 broadcast of Meringue no Kimochi, he showed the program again. Currently, only one 6-minute clip has been found.
Before we wrap this video up, I'd like to give a very big thank you to Seeker of the Lost and SakuraStardust for lending their voices to this video. And a shout out to Wolf Yum, the artist behind Sakura's avatar. All the respective socials will be in the description below, and without ado, I'll see you in another one.